Hey there.
How you doing? What's love got to do? Got to do with
Don't get
it.
a copyright.
That's the thing.
Don't get a copyright.
Okay. Good evening and happy New Year's to
Happy New
everybody.
Year.
We got on here. We was on earlier with it's just me, Shauna D. Um, talking about what we're gonna be talking about now is love. Love has a lot of aspects. It's gotten go in a lot of different ways. You can talk about love between a relationship, a relationship in a like spousal. You can talk about love between your children. First and foremost, you can talk about a godly love, love between friends. There's a lot of aspects of love you can talk about, but today we're going to talk about a love between
The obvious.
the obvious spousal.
Man and wife.
Man, my neck look like.
You want me to sketch you?
No,
Hold on,
good.
guys. He's
Okay.
okay.
Yes. We're gonna talk about love between couples today. We're gonna because this is a broad concept. I'm gonna read from the King James version of what the Bible says about love. Read this whole chapter. It's 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, first on through the 13th. We're gonna read all of it. I'm gonna read all of that. It says, "These are the characteristics of love." That's what the word says. This is what God wants us to know about love. He said, "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long." Charity is love. That's what charity means. "Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity." We're talking about love here, y'all. Love is an easy thing to say, but do you know what's hard to do? So many things get in the way of what we call love. What we call love is different from what God calls love. In relationships pertaining to a spouse, do we really know what love is? Do we really care? And everything it's said about love in the scriptures, are we really doing it? Be honest with yourself. Think about it when it comes to your spouse. Are we really loving the way God wants us to love? If we would, as a people, if we did, would there be a lot of divorces? Would it be a lot of breakups? Would it be a lot of people getting together that realized later on that I wasn't really in love with this person? Why did I marry? Why did I get with them? Was it convenience? Was it stability? Or was it truly love? We got to ask ourselves these things. When we're young, it says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. When you're a child, your love, you're thinking what love is changes when you get older. When you're young, you look at the outward appearance. You look at it through your carnal eye, flesh. Oh man, she look good. Oh, he's a nice looking man. Oh man, they got money. What can they do for me? God's love, the way God has it, God's love is on the inside. And it goes towards the people. It goes out towards the people. That's what God love is. Our love is outside coming in. We want for us. We selfish. That's what we are. As humans, we're selfish. When you're young, you think like this. Like that commercial I always say, J.G. Wentworth, I want my money now. I want my stuff now. But it's not love. It's things. When you're young in a relationship, you may love this person. And that's good. I hope you do love the person when you're young. And you're supposed to. When you get older, your love changes. Your love is not to say you don't love that person, but your love grows. It ages in the relationship. It ages with you and your spouse. Love just doesn't stop. It should continue. Now, I understand if the person you with is being abusive, different kinds of ways, but that's not love. And if any person that's abusive mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, that's not love. That's control. Know the difference. A person that loves you don't want to control you. They don't. Now, don't get it twisted. You have to respect each other. You have to set boundaries when you have a relationship. Weird. But you got to set boundaries. They got to know your boundaries. They got to know your boundaries.
Sorry.
They do. In a relationship. It doesn't mean they don't love you or you don't love them. It's just that it's respect. I'll give you an example. I don't like to be demeaned.
Oh gosh, no one does.
I don't like to be dishonored.
No one does.
I want to be respected. You know, everybody has their own quirks. I don't like it when you, do this thing and you laugh at this or you look at me this way or you talk. I mean, some things you can like put on the back burner or like it's really not really that serious. Like you left the toilet seat up. That doesn't mean I don't love you. You left the milk out. That doesn't mean I don't love you. You left your lipstick and all your stuff over the counter in the bathroom. That doesn't mean I don't love you. Force a habit. And there's some things you got to be like, okay, I can deal with that because I'm not perfect myself. Love has no bounds. It says love suffereth long and is kind. It says it suffereth long and is kind. We all have issues. We're all still working it out. There's some things that I love about my wife, and some things I don't like about my wife. The things she likes about me is the things that she don't like about me. We're two different people. Could you imagine marrying you? I'd have been gone if I had to marry myself. That's why they say opposites attract. If we sat back and just thought about it, just sit back and think, close your eyes and just think, am I loving my spouse the way I should? Now, I'm going to tell you what, the enemy is going to sit there and say, if you love them that much, they may try to hurt you. They may run off with somebody else. Girl, don't be messing around and give him all that. Man, you must be crazy.
That's fear.
That's fear. You going to let that woman do all that? That's not, no. And let me tell you this. Asking your wife, if a man or somebody asks you to do something, and you say, let me ask my wife. That's not a punk, man. That's a relationship.
That's consideration.
That's consideration. That's respect. Going out with the homies all the time, and you in a marriage, what you gonna do when you go out with the homies? Come on, be honest. You spending money, drinks, alcohol. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie, drugs, smoking. You also got to understand that your friends, some of your friends that don't have anybody, and you hanging with these people, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all right to have friends that don't have, but you always hanging with them and they have nobody. You always, and you know, your friends, they're going to have women, or if they're women, they're going to have men around. How does that look? It puts a strain on relationship, because you're wondering, the other person is wondering, why are you always with them? What are you doing over there? 10 to 1, your spouse knows the other person, the other people. I know how he is. I know how your friend is. I know how she is, man. They have all them people over there. Love is a delicate thing. And let me say, men love women different than women love men. It's difference. A man, when he loves, he professes, protects, and provides. That's what he does. A woman is a helpmate. But we love this. We love the same, but we love different. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. We love different, but we love the same. A woman, she takes up for her man. This one right here, back to back, knuckled up. Let's go. Now that's love.
Most definitely.
Now a man will be, hey, I got this, because he don't want his wife or his children getting hurt. That's love. Ain't nobody gonna tear your partner away from you. I've said this before. When you're in a marriage, nobody comes before your wife or your husband except God. And I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna make some people mad. I've said it before. Not even your children come before your spouse.
Every week.
I'm sorry, but I want this to run deep.
Well, you know, and people have to understand that.
And it's not, like I said, I explained before, it's not saying
that you're
just going to deprive your kids, because you're one. God said when you're married, you're one, not two, you're one. So when you take care of the kids, you both, especially if they small kids, who in their right mind is going to not take care of small kids? Yes, they eat first because they're little. They can't do it for themselves. Now, when they get older and grown and teenage years, and look, we still take care of them, but look, y'all got to go in there and fix your own plate. I done worked all day. Mama done worked all day. We's tired. See, it's we's because it's one. Like you old enough to get in there. We taught you. When they get older and they find somebody, what do you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna stay in the house with y'all? With our old butts? You know, we got rules and things in our house. No, the kids gonna go. They're gonna get their own house, make their own rules, and love that person. And while some people will just go all out for their children, it don't matter. My kids come first. But while your kids coming first, your relationship is second, third, or fourth. And that puts strain on the relationship. And you still got to ask yourself, did I really love that person? Most people that separate, I'm not saying all, but most people separate and divorce. They don't, and they know that person was a good person. I'm not talking about the people that has abused that person or stole from that person or dogged that person. I'm talking about the good people, and they just divorced. Why? Because it was too hard. Why was it too hard? Get to the root of it. They look back over and it's like, man, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I got out of there a little bit too soon. You know why? One of the reasons why you let too many people in your marriage. You let too many people in your marriage. I'm talking about everybody was in your marriage.
But you know, a lot of people are guilty of that.
Everybody's guilty of that.
And I think if you're in a relationship, you know, like if you've loved and you've lost or you've divorced, I think you have lessons learned or your takeaways from things that you did or didn't do previously and the things that you don't want to repeat or that you learned. And a lot of times the immaturity, you add everybody into the equation of your relationship. You put everybody in it. And it's your relationship with your spouse or significant other. And because a lot of times you may have, you know, differences or whatever, and where you have gone back and reconciled, it's kind of like tying in everything we've said. But yet then you have the outside or extended family still upset and you've reconciled. Yeah. But we have to learn the levels of love, and we don't want to get stuck on just the passion of love when you're in a relationship. Like we were speaking earlier today, and I was trying to pull information out of you guys. I really was. I was trying to like get a little interlude for us. But he was like, no, we're not going to do it. But we have to know that as you age, I think for me, love gets better as you get older. For us, it gets better as you get older. Because you go from the newness and the deep affection you have for each other. And then it grows into, you just can't, like we said earlier, you just can't go off the chemistry you have. Mm-hmm. Because that's all you have, and chemistry doesn't keep it. Yeah. Because you can have chemistry with anybody, really, but it doesn't keep it. It's almost like any appliance or something, you know, not to dismiss the sacredness or the depth of a marriage or relationship, but it needs maintenance. There's things that you have to do in the relationship to maintain it. Trust is first. Mm-hmm. No, let me take that back. God is first. God is first. And you have to have a mutual trust. Yes. You have to have communication. You have to, like we said before, compromise.
Definitely compromise.
You really do have to love the
Mhm.
person. I always said is, no matter how upset you get with someone, and I look at him and I say, can I imagine life without him?
You do have to. That's a
And
question should come up.
The
But before you think about
that's the self check I do.
jumping ship, before you think
Right.
about, ask yourself that
Can I
question.
imagine? And it's not because of what he does or what he can do, what he can't do, whatever. It's, can I imagine my life without him? No.
Let me say this. She said that something earlier about chemistry. Sex is not love. Having sex, that does not mean that person loves you. I know when you're young, some guys, or if now, let me tell you something. Some guys know when they see a desperate woman. Some women know when they see a desperate man. And then when you're young and you don't know and you really don't understand, you got some guys, come on, baby. You know you love me. If you love me, you would do this. If you love me, you would do that. Women do it too. If you love me, you would give me this. That's not love. Okay? That's control. Again, that's control. Because after you done gave up your goods, that person may walk away from you. Did you feel loved? No. Actually, what you feel is shame. Because you couldn't believe you gave it up. You knew they was wrong. You knew they was wrong. But you did it anyway because you thought this was going to make them stay. No, it doesn't. Then you're dealing with heartache. You're dealing with a child maybe that you didn't want. Might have been dealing with some diseases that you didn't want either. Think about it. God in the Bible talks about marriage. He ordains it. Why does he ordain it? You got to think about it. You in a relationship and you like this person and you're young, or you can be old, it don't matter. And you think having sex is going to keep this person. And I'm talking about both ways, men and women, either side. Well, say you have sex before marriage. You play around, you get burned. Sometimes you get burned. You don't have sex with this person. You've been with this person for years. You may have kids with this person. You may not. Then you wonder, a lot of women do this, more women than men do this, I'm just being honest. You look up 3 or 4 years down the road and that y'all still ain't married. Ain't no ring. And he talking about, baby, I just got to get myself together. I just got to get myself together. Let me get my... When you going to get yourself together? I'm going to tell you this. Within the first 1 or 2 years, I'm going to be honest with you. Men, you're going to hate me for this. But within the first 1 or 2 years, a man knows that he wants to marry this woman. I'll just say this. Shacking is wrong. I'm be honest with you. You should. I'm telling you, by experience, shacking is wrong. I only shacked with 2 women in my life, but I married them because I knew I was going to marry them. I did not stay with anybody, and I'm not saying I was right. I said, you just heard me. I said it was wrong, but I knew I was going to marry them because I didn't believe in staying with somebody and playing games.
Right.
Because I didn't want nobody playing games with me. I've seen enough of that. Women being dogged out by people, men, even some of my friends. I'm not going to lie. But they did it. And these women were angry, hurt, and it got destructive.
I'm going to say I wasn't laughing because of the situation. I'm laughing because I never know what he's going to say. And it's almost like, what is he going to say next? I never know what he's going to say next.
Look, I'm being honest.
He's
and
very
truthful.
Forthcoming, and the most hurtful thing, and he's right to a fault, because we as women, we live on the hope or the potential of, and what's what's sad is the time that you lose giving love, the best love that you have to give
to someone that's not worthy of your love.
And they may not be worthy of it, and they don't reciprocate it in the manner that you deserve.
That's right.
And it takes me back to my youth. I'm telling you, when I tell you my dad taught me how to live, my mother always said how to carry yourself. And I'm not saying I didn't make mistakes, because I did. What he's talking about, I did. I made mistakes.
We all did.
And it's one thing, she always said, why buy the milk if the cow is free?
Yeah, why buy the milk if you get the cow free? Why buy the cow if you can get the milk free?
Same difference.
Yeah,
you always
same.
reverse everything I say.
I just had to think about it.
Anyway, but that's how she would put it. And it was like, in other words, it's like you're giving wifely benefits to somebody that's not going to necessarily marry you.
Yeah.
So don't give your wifely benefits. And it's like, it's not saying treat them bad. Treat them, you treat somebody how you want to be treated. But if you give up all the benefits, what's there to what do you have left if you've given everything of you? And I know we do it because we deeply, when we love hard, we love deep, we love passionately. When you have a deep affection for somebody, you do want to do that because you in hopes that one day this will be your mate. But you can't give it all up front. And I mean, it's, oh God, don't be mad at me, but it's the truth. Had I known things back then, did I always listen? No. But it's the reality of it, And some people are okay with the common law, whatever. That's your business. But you can't give everything for free and not get anything in exchange. Because then you've spent decades loving and not being, like I said, reciprocated. Or you spend decades, and the person that is really out there and is willing to love you in the manner that you need, deserve, desire, God sent, has, God molded them specifically for you. They're out there, but you spent so many years with this person who didn't value you. And then somebody out here is too valued. Then you are somewhere guarded and not able to open up because you've loved the wrong person too long. And you weren't loved back the way you needed to be.
The wrong person. If you seek the love, if you seek love from the wrong person, you can spend years trying to make this person love you. And if you're not careful, and that person is never going to love you, they'll show you. And if you're not careful, that'll turn into bitterness and anger. And then everyone you meet, every man or woman that this person meets, you make them pay for what that other person has done to you. And then you never get a relationship. Then you grow old. And you figure out, they got a saying, nobody wants to grow old lonely. I've said that for years. But you know what? Nobody wants to grow old lonely without love. You can get anybody if you really want to in your life. You can get somebody in your old age, but if they don't love you, that's torture. You're torturing yourself. I don't want to grow old with somebody that's like an enemy to me. They can't stand me. I'm sitting there with you, looking at you, you dogging me out, hurting me, trying to steal from me, take from me, trying to berate me. Who emasculate? Who wants to grow old like that? Your ticker is weak. Your body is weak. Your mind is weak when you get older. You want to be in a relationship just because to say, I'm not by myself, I'm with somebody, I got somebody? Misery, that's what you'll have. Anger, that's what you'll have. Get with somebody that's going to love you for who you are, love you more than you love you. If that's the case, I would rather be alone, grow old alone. If it's without love, I forget that.
Truthfully,
because that's torture, and that's something that hits you in your soul. That's hard to recover from. But God can get you there if you allow him. In Matthew, it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be given unto you. Not just some. He said all. Yes, your spouse too. If you seek God first with all your heart, God will give you who he wants you to have. And it'll be right. It will come without sorrow. But you also got to be what you want. You want to be loved, you got to give love. Being honest. If you want to be loved, you have to give love. If you want honesty, you have to be honest. If you want temperance, you got to give temperance. Longevity, you have to give longevity. Everything you seek, you have to be. You have to be compassionate.
In other words, everything you desire, you have to give.
And remember, you're not perfect either.
No.
Why are you putting expectations on somebody that you can't even do yourself? Think about it. Would I be able to stand this? Would I let somebody do this to me? Most abusers that I've seen, if they had it done to them, they'd lose their mind. That won't happen to me. Well, why you do it to somebody else? And then they have the nerve to get angry and want to fight and kill everybody. Well, your day's coming. Trust me. Nothing lasts forever but the word of God. Everything has an end. Everything that with a beginning has an end. Everything has a season. There's a time for all of it. But love conquers all.
How do you know when you love someone?
How do you know?
Mm-hmm.
You do stuff you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
You say stuff that back in the day you was like, man, that's a punk move. I feel that way now. So there wasn't a punk move, was it? You'll protect, as a man's standpoint of view, that woman we love, I don't want nobody with that woman. I couldn't stand to see somebody hugged up with this woman. I can't. I couldn't stand to see somebody loving this woman. So if you really feel like that, it's in your heart, you would do all to protect, to provide for this woman. Or if you're a woman for a man, or for your spouse, you do all of it.
Go ahead.
I'm just talking about me and her. Talking about nobody else. It's just me and her.
I think in a practical sense, for me, it's like that person, not so to say consume your thoughts, but you think about them frequently.
Mm-hmm.
You think of life with them futuristically.
Mm-hmm.
You feel compassion for them. You get a little in your feelings, like you said, the thought of them, like if they're with someone else or something like that, you get, they say if you get the butterflies or you get that quickening when you see him, or like earlier, it's like after all these years, he still makes me blush. And what I am, it's like, I'll blush in a heartbeat. See, don't even. For me, a sense of safety. Stop. A sense of safety. What else? you're constantly thinking of them and their well-being, not just your own, but their well-being as well. Um, and you just want to spend a lot of time with them, really. I know that seems kind of surfacey, but and then you grow. It gets deeper, it gets deeper. And I will say, when I said earlier, it's like I think it's better with age. As we spend more time together and we've grown up, so to speak. We're not the same that we were 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But I would say the love I have is even stronger.
You find yourself, not to cut you off,
You're fine.
but you find yourself going through stuff like, why the hell am I going through all this? I'm like, God, I wouldn't have never went through this stuff with somebody else. And you find yourself loving it.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll look at each other and like, you know what?
I wouldn't do this with
anybody.
I'm like, I love it that I'm going through this with you, because you're like anybody else. My gosh, you should have a sense of peace.
Oh, absolutely.
When you get with your spouse. Remember, God made us one. In your relationship, when you're married, God said you're no longer two, you're one. So you ain't gonna hurt yourself. You ain't gonna slander yourself. No. You ain't gonna rob yourself. You ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna damage yourself. You're gonna love yourself.
Right.
And you'll find peace within yourself. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish your thought. We're gonna do better with this exchange.
If you love your mate, your spouse, with all your heart, you want to be the best version of you that you can be for your spouse.
Right.
The best version. You start thinking like, okay, if I say this, is that going to hurt him or her? Okay, how would I feel if somebody said this to me?
You consider their feelings.
You start considering stuff. Start thinking over.
That's true.
You start talking. I do.
That's
I ain't
true.
trying to be funny. Talk to myself all the time. Wait a minute.
That is so true.
I may get mad sometimes. Don't get me wrong. If I see something I don't like, or I see something that what I believe I'll start having whole scenarios, whole movies in my mind about what's about to go down. But then I start talking myself out of it. Like,
oh yeah,
she ain't gonna do that.
He'll have a whole infight before it even happens. I'm like, what are you doing now?
And then you start looking crazy. You start reenacting. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yes.
But you realize, no. And that ain't nothing but the enemy, the devil trying to get you to say that one word that you know is going to set it off up in there. So you got to retract. And if you do make a mistake and you trip out and do it, come back when everything's calmed down and say, I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Right.
A heartfelt sorry goes a long ways.
True.
I sometimes I tell when she get mad at me, I'm talking about real mad, and I look over at her, and I mean she may be mad for a while, and I'll be like, listen, does this mean you gonna divorce me? I say that. That means are you gonna really divorce me over this? And she thinks about it for a while. She don't say one, but she think about it.
Like, what?
And then she start being nice. What you want a sandwich or something?
No, the funny thing is like, if we have like a difference and it's just telling our little stuff. And just to, is the kitchen still there?
Right.
Was the refrigerator on when you went by?
Was the door still on the hinges when you came through the house when you walked
That's in? Funny. It's little stuff.
Man, was the car still there when you drove home? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, and yeah.
Come on now.
Yep. Most definitely. And what I was going to say earlier, it's like things that I find admirable with him. First, how he loves the Lord, how he loves me, but especially how he loves his family, our family, his immediate family, his extended family. I just love that because family is important. It is who shapes us.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or ugly about it. And that is one thing. But like I said, first one, how he loves the Lord. Um, I couldn't ask for someone better.
If you grew up in a family that showed love to one another, especially a mother and father, grandparents, and they showed affection and they showed you, they were like the models of marriage. And that's great. Do that. Because you see how long they were together. That's why they were together. Because it was compromise. It was a lot of I'm sorry's. It was a lot of, hey, could you do this or could I do this? Or a lot of compromise working together. Now, if you grew up in a family that did not know what love was, and they had a lot of situations, when you get older, like, wait a minute, hold on. And it keeps, in every relationship you get into goes the same way. It's called insanity. Switch it up. Find somebody out there, and everybody knows there's a couple out there that they like, man, how are they doing it? I mean, what's making them so long and what's making them stay together? Well, maybe you need to take notes, mental notes. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's no marriage that is perfect, though. That's the thing. Both of the people found out I'm not perfect. So I'm gonna give a little grace to the other one because I messed up too. One of my things is I have embarrassed and hurt my Father in heaven, and He's always forgave me, always showed me grace and mercy. So why can't I show grace and mercy to somebody that I actually love, and I want to be with for the rest of my life? Think about it. Do you want to grow old with this person? You got to think about that. That's some questions you need to ask yourself. Can I love this person and grow old with them? Can I see myself, my stinking self in the same and just chilling with them in a chair watching TV or doing whatever, sitting outside for the rest of my life? Can I see myself waking up to this person every day for the rest of my life? Does it hurt if I have to go somewhere for a long period of time without this person? Am I on the phone with him every time I'm gone? Always talking to him, FaceTiming or Google, what do you call it? Google Duo or Zoom. If you're doing that, you love that person. If you're in a relationship and y'all ain't married yet, but y'all are talking back, you can't sit a minute without talking to this person for nothing. You're always on the phone with them. People are like, hey, you gonna get on the phone yet? You may love that person. Be like the Love Boat around here. The Love Boat. Soon will be another run. Come on. Some of y'all old heads probably know that song, that old show. I used to love that show. But, you start thinking about this kind of stuff. The older you get. When you're young, you look, like I said, you're looking at the carnal eye. What looks good, what's quick, what's fast, what people might think about how y'all look or the money. But when you get older, ain't about none of that. You find out that's not even love at all. That was lust.
Right.
There's a difference between love and lust. You got to know the difference. You got to find out and figure out what the difference is. And that's between you and yourself and that person and God. Ask God. What is it? In a relationship, what's love got to do with this? Why do I love this person? You need to ask as much questions as you can. You two, as a couple, you need to tell the truth. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care if that person, I'm talking about this is before you get married. Tell the truth. And if that person accepts you for who you are and for what you've done, okay, how bad you think it is, as long as you have changed now, if you have changed and that was part of the past, then tell them. So there's no secrets between you two.
Right.
because this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Be honest. Always be honest. I'm telling you, always be honest. Because that secret that you're keeping from that person that you say you love, it's going to come back. It's going to come back around. It's going to show us that everything done in the dark will come to the light. Then you're going to have to explain, and you're already in the marriage. That makes it stressful on the relationship. You got extra kids out there? Tell them before you get married. Heck, I think I look like, look, I got kids. I don't know where they at. I don't know if I got them, but I believe there's somewhere out there. Just you gotta cover yourself. You gotta cover you. So in case you don't have them, you ain't gotta worry about it. I don't know. Maybe
I never know what he's going to say.
Maybe I don't know. Might got somebody out there. I don't know, but thank God I don't. I told well, she knew I had 2 children before we got married. I wanted her to know that because if you love me, you'll love them. Just like I love her children. I love her family. She loves my family. I don't care how crazy and mean or surly or whatever your family is, you still love them. Don't mean you got to be around them 24/7, but you still love them. And if you love somebody, I'm not trying to be funny. If you love somebody, you'll deal with their crazy family. Like I said, don't mean you got to be around them all the time, but you'll deal with them because of this person. I would fight the devil himself. Notice I didn't say God because I ain't fighting him. I fight the devil himself for this one. I would go straight up, knuckle up, especially when I was young, because I was strong then. I didn't care who you was. We go toe to toe. You may have been able to whoop my tail. I don't know, but I would have done it for her. That's when you know you really love somebody. You ready to defend them.
It's true.
I would snap off on my own family.
I wouldn't want you to.
On her, not what I'm saying is, I snap off on my own family, on her family, on anybody if they were to try to hurt this one. I would, because I know how selfless this woman has been. I said selfless. She's more selfless than I am, and I consider myself all right. She's helped me out a couple times. But I know she does it to help us. Well, this is Getting Down to Stephen D. And it's just me, LaShawna D.
It's just me, LaShawna D. It was his night tonight, guys.
We want to say Happy New Year's. I ask God to bless each and every one of y'all on this live. Anybody that is going to see this, to cover you in abundance in 2023. Health, as well as financial, emotionally, and everything else. I love you guys, and we will see you next time. God bless.
God bless.